What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with another video, and today is quite a long one. I'm going to try to get everything in. It might be quite short, it might be quite long. It all depends on how quickly I can get through this video. And today's video then is F1 2014 Rules Explained. So all the new rules then I'll be explaining and also mentioning some of the not well known ones. I just went through the rules, just found them, looked on Wikipedia and the FIA, and I found some ones even I didn't know, so I'm sure there'll be some you didn't know as well. First of all then, we're obviously switching to V6 engines, the 1.6 litre engines. There'll now be 8 gears on the engines instead of 7, and they will be limited to 15,000 RPM. The KERS has now been renamed ERS K. This gives an additional 161 bph for 33 seconds per lap, in comparison to 80 bhp for 6 seconds in 2012. And now they're also switching to electric braking, and the nose height can be no more off above the ground than 855 millimeters, which will not be much at all. And people will be thinking they could be quite ugly next year's cars. We are getting nearer to the first car launch. I think it's McLaren, as we know so far, are launching their car first. And of course this is compared to 550 in 2012. And also then the final sort of technical regulation is the position of the exhaust outlet has changed. This might be targeted at Red Bull because they did use their exhaust very well, very aerodynamically, but now they've sort of targeted them and they've managed to get rid of whatever they were using to become so fast in that area. But I'm sure what Red Bull will lack in that area, I'm sure they'll make up somewhere else in the car. So moving on to the sort of more sporting regulations rather than the technical ones. And mid-season testing is back then. So throughout the season we'll go to 4 European venues, this is during the season, sorry, and they will host 2-day tests before the Grand Prix on. So say they might be, I presume they'll probably do one in Silverstone, where before Silverstone they'll be doing a 2-day test, maybe like on the Wednesday or Thursday, and then they'll start the practice, qualifying and the race. This will be to help Pirelli get some more data, and also just for a bit more testing for the teams to understand the tyres and the engines. There'll be penalty points now, that's very good to see. So if you get so many points you get a qualifying ban, if so many points you get a race ban. Also 5-second penalties, which I think will be great. That's a great feature, just a small thing, but it really can make the difference in someone's race. If the penalty is only minor, a 5-second is a lot better than a full 10-second penalty or a drive-through or a stop-go. Grid penalties for unsafe release. This is great to see because there was too many unsafe releases in 2013. Especially, I did see quite a few from Caterham and some of the back teams, but there also was some from the front teams. But I think that does need to be a heavier punishment. And they only have 5 engines, and if they have to swap the engine, then they do get a 10-place grid penalty. So it's going to be very important keeping your engine and knowing when to switch your engine. So usually they put a new engine in for Monza, but it will be up to the teams when they change the engine, but they do only have 5 for the full 19 races. So this is a new thing then, I've just found this out. In the event a penalty relegates a driver past the back of the grid, their penalty will continue to the next race. So just to explain this, I'm going to use an example then. Presume Max Chilton qualified 20th for the Australian Grand Prix, but he had a 5-place grid penalty. He'd been moved to the back of the grid in 22nd, but he's obviously only been moved 2 grid slots back. So his remaining 3 grid slots penalty will carry on to the next race, say in Malaysia. So if he qualified 19th, then he'd be moved right to the back of the grid. Say if he qualified 22nd and once again he didn't fulfill it, the penalty will just be removed then. It won't carry on. It can only carry on for 1 race. So that is a new thing then. I didn't know about that, and I presume probably most people didn't know about that. I haven't heard many people mentioning that. So moving on then, the pit lane speed is now 50 miles per hour from 62 miles per hour in 2012 and 2013, and pretty much in recent years. Practice 1 then has now been increased to 2 hours, and you will be given an extra set of tyres just for the first half an hour. And I hope this will encourage teams to run young drivers. I do think that should be, maybe that could be a rule, that they have to run young drivers, but sadly it's not. There's obviously driver specific numbers, I'm sure you all know that if you've watched a couple of my other videos. And there's also going to be a trophy at the end of seasons for the person with the most pole positions. And then there'll be double points then for the last race. This has caused a lot of controversy. I'm not a fan of it. I think they should scrap it. I think they will. But then now Bernie's come out and said that he wants to put more double points races in, maybe for USA and Brazil. And it's just getting out of hand now. I think Christian Horner should overtake Bernie Ecclestone, overtake his position, or should get someone else to, just kick Bernie Ecclestone out as nice as possible. They should buy him out, I don't know. I just don't think he should have such a massive input into the sport. So finally then, another thing I did not know. If drivers do not set a lap, saying in qualifying 3, Sebastian Vettel and Jenson Button haven't set a lap. Of course, last year that would mean Sebastian Vettel would start in 9th and Jenson Button would start in 10th. But now for 2014, if Jenson Button has set a faster lap than Sebastian Vettel in 3rd practice 3, then Jenson Button would start in 9th and Sebastian Vettel will start in 10th. So that's a good thing then. It's not just based on the numbers, it's based on pure pace, and also might make drivers who are thinking not setting a lap in qualifying really push in 3rd practice. Rather than sort of sandbagging and laying back, we might see a bit of more track action. So I've been Smooth Racing then, that has been all. You can leave your opinions or any rules that I've missed out and put them in the comment section below. But it's goodbye from me then. I've been Smooth Racing, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.